I'm Liz Rogers.
And I'm Jeff Duke.
This is the 2 and 5 podcast, and this time we're talking about core values. Jeff and I are both business owners, entrepreneurial by nature, and we like core values. We feel like our businesses have always had core values. Any successful business has strong core values. And when we got into a relationship with one another, a very clear set of core values surfaced for us of things that were important. And I think any good set of core values acts as a lens for you to screen decisions and words and actions through. And so we quickly discovered a set of core values that were common between us. And the biggest one was
authenticity. And authenticity is very important, like, for a lot of reasons. But Shakespeare said, "To thy own self be true." And what I've realized in dealing with people and various things is you can tell the people that are real and true to themselves and are authentic, and those who have cycles of disaster because they lie to themselves and they put their past and their future. And especially, just from my life dealings as an attorney and just dealing with mental health, if anybody's dealt with mental health, it really, you can be clear about, you can see these things. And so one of the things that really at the Waffle House really drew me to Liz is like, she was truly listening and responding authenticity and that's what made our conversation so well, is because that's something that I think, finding the biggest liars are the lies that we tell ourselves, and that's why we do these things. And so there's a Latin term called, it's uva uvum vivindo vera fit, and what it means is like a grape changes color when it sees another grape. And so, like, there was a level of authenticity between us that, once you see that and you realize that, it changes you forever.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I think that we both had been doing a lot of the really heavy lifting of self-evaluation and self-awareness. And you learn that, for me personally, efficiency is a huge core value, and that when you're authentic, when you speak truth, when you are honest with yourself and honest with each other, that you become a very well-oiled machine, and you learn to navigate conflict, and you learn to navigate the highs and the lows extremely well. And that was really important to me, is that Jeff is a very accountable person, and that we worked really well together in kind of cutting through the bullshit and getting right to the heart of the matter, and having some really hard conversations, because we are a blended family. We have been married before. We have a lot of children, and there are a lot of people and family and friends and businesses and moving parts. And you have to be really honest with one another about the challenges in that. You can't be prideful. You can't pretend to be something that you're not. You have to be who you are authentically, in order to move forward in a pair when you're used to working by yourself.
No, it truly, when you truly find authenticity with yourself, meaning you can be happy without someone. And I think that's where me and Liz were when we met back again at the Waffle House, was we were content and being authentic and joyful without someone. And that led that to be much more powerful because of the struggles that it took to get there. Everybody has to go through those struggles of finding truths. Like Christ said, "The truth, I am the truth, the light, and the way." And that, like, he set that example for us of being authentic.
Yeah.
And that faith is the center of our relationship. And it's, I think, the most important thing of finding that relationship with Christ is being authentic with yourself, because he says the devil is the liar. And so, I to me, that's the core of a happy, joyful life, is finding truth in oneself. And I think we were at a time we had that, and it just magnifies when you're.
Absolutely. And I think, it's we live in a time that's increasingly hard to be authentic because so much of what we do is so curated. And Jeff and I actually had a really great long road trip conversation about this yesterday, that with the advent of social media and even like what we pick and choose to portray to other people is very curated, and we pick the very high of the highs to share with other people to give illusion. And um, we felt very early on that we understood, we also talked about this yesterday on our road trip, is that we all come into relationship with, you know, if you want to call it baggage or experience or a set of expectations and beliefs, and that the beauty in being in true relationship with one another and being authentic is in acknowledging that you come into the relationship with that, and you're aware of it, and you agree to work on it together. And so, you know, Jeff and I have been in previous relationships. We have a ton of life experience through family and business and friends. So we have a lot of impressions already upon our hearts, but agreeing to acknowledge that in one another and then work on that and work through that, I think, is the most important part of our relationship in any relationship. When you have a lot of kids and a lot of business and a lot of things happening every day, there's no time really. It's a disservice for us to be, you know, not transparent with one another and to not just get right to the chase and say, you hurt my feelings. This is how that made me feel. We use that all the time. This is how that made me feel. We don't accuse and we don't point fingers, but we're authentic about how the other person makes us feel, you know, and then we work through it from there.
No, the truth is truly important, and it truly sets you free when you find that. Like that's what someone called the, you know, the flow state, or, you know, that's where you shut that thing off in your mind that's always asking, am I looking good, am I looking bad, and instead of just centering on being present and reacting with truth, and then you don't have to worry or think about anything. But I think that is a good wrap on core value number one. Authenticity. Talk about anything. Next week,
Stronger together is our next core value. We're going to talk all about it on
and
the
fighting well.
And fighting well is coming up also. You're not going to want to miss that one. We do that. We fight extremely well. So tune in next time to the 2 and 5 podcast. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts.